Well, in a twisted turn of events, only days before the 72nd Miss Universe pageant is set to take place in El Salvador with 2 transgender contestants for the first time, the company behind it has filed for bankruptcy. JKN Global Group, a Bangkok-listed firm, acquired the organisation only 1 year ago for a purchase of £16.4 million from the company that bought it off Donald Trump in 2015. The news comes ahead of this weekend's pageant, where it will be the first time 2 transgender women have competed in Miss Universe, Miss Portugal and Miss Netherlands. The woman who led the purchase last October, and Jakrajutatip, is a well-known Thai businesswoman, celebrity and transgender activist who bought the Miss Universe pageant as a strategic addition to her company's business portfolio. But as a trans woman herself, the organisation was also acquired with the aim to make Miss Universe, Miss USA and Miss Teen USA more inclusive for trans people, mothers and married women. While transgender women have been able to compete in Miss Universe competitions since 2013, only in 2018 was the first time a transgender woman made it to the pageant when she was crowned Miss Spain. Transgender politics has been at the height of headlines this week after it was revealed an endometriosis health charity had appointed a trans woman as its chief executive. Because endometriosis is a painful condition that affects a woman's womb, the appointment of a trans woman, Steph Richards, to the role caused backlash. Many critics believe an executive role for a charity affecting women should be awarded to a biological woman. The endometriosis charity slammed critics for their transphobic reaction to the news, while Steph Richards published a lengthy response. She wrote, "Endometriosis South Coast are a small local charity with an annual income of around £8,000. Our team consists of 6 trustees and 5 volunteers, all of whom were assigned female at birth, and myself. None of us are paid a salary. We do it to improve the lives of those who suffer endo." She continued, pointing out that executives are hired on their skill set, not their gender. There are numerous examples of charities/organisations employing CEOs whose sex doesn't correspond with those they serve. Look no further than Laura Kirby at Prostate Cancer UK and Simon Cook at MSI Reproductive Choices. Many gynecologists are men. I don't see any headlines about them. Some midwives are men. I don't see any headlines about them either. And how about the male paramedic who may deal with miscarriage or prolapse? There are no headlines about them either. Am I wrong? But of course, the news prompted debate on air.
I do agree with her on this issue. I think it's ridiculous to say that somebody can or cannot be a CEO of a charity, depending on whether they've got that personal lived experience, as people say.
It's not.
Also, bear in mind, this is a charity that has, that every single person working for that charity is voluntary. They don't get any sort of salary at all. They have a budget of £8,000 a year. This is a teeny-weeny charity. She's doing it out of the goodness of her heart. The head of the prostate cancer charity, National Prostate Cancer Charity in this country, is a woman. That woman has no personal experience of prostate cancer. So if this...
Shouldn't be a woman. Should be a man. Should be a man. It should be. It should be a man who's in charge of... Because it's such a sensitive thing, prostate cancer. If you have someone at the top of Prostate Cancer UK who is a man, I'm more likely to listen to a man. If Ian Collins wants to come and talk to me about prostate cancer, I'm more likely to listen to him because he's a man than a woman saying to me...
But these are corporate jobs.
Not low tosh. It's the same way that when we had the period dignity officer being given the job to a man, everyone kicks off about it. It shouldn't be a man. It should be no.
Hang on a second. Something similar. It's like, you know, the conversation about female pundits commenting on male football, which I think is ludicrous.
That shouldn't happen.
They'll say, "Oh, I would have passed it." Excuse me, you're not a man. You haven't played men's football. It's a completely different sport.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, I loathe this rise of identity politics and how everyone has to identify as whatever to be able to get a job or to feel like they have to get ahead. So I understand, you know, her CV is what matters, but in this instance, I actually think it's a bit trickier than that. She tweeted in her letter saying, a part of what she she tweeted about, you know, it's my CV that matters. She said, in the UK, 10% of those assigned female at birth suffer from this awful disease. That's the problem. Because now we cannot be sure that her politics will not seep into this. At the end of the day, you cannot be assigned female at birth. You're either born a man or a woman. Exactly. And for her to say this, you have to question what direction will she lead the charity into? If she already believes, actually, you can be assigned female at birth, you have no business talking about anything to do with the female body.
She also claims that man, woman and child are social constructs, not that they're real things.
Exactly. Yeah, well, that kind of stuff is just a nonsense. We all know that, but for some reason there is a curious establishment idea that you've got to say, oh, that's a very good point. Non-binary people might have a problem, as if that's a recognised gender. I mean, JJ is absolutely bang on. If you're a period officer, you should be a woman. If you're in charge of prostate cancer, you should be a man. If you're in charge of a charity that is about endometriosis,
these
then you should be...
private organisations or charities surely can choose whoever they want.
They can.
Yes,
but if you're asking, if the question, you know, in an ideal world, who should be looking after periods and womb stuff, then frankly, that's the technical... then, frankly, it should be a woman.
Hang on.
Or somebody who was born a woman
if you're
who has
not careful, Mr.
If you're looking after
if you're not careful,
prostates
Mr.
and
Collins,
testicles, then
it
in theory...
means that you, as a presenter, shouldn't cover certain topics.